I'm going to be reacting to another video that just so happened to catch my eye on YouTube.
Ranking this all of Disney's live-action remakes.
Ranking all which Disney live-action remake is the worst by Modern Girls. I'll link it in the description, so if you want to watch the original video. But this one definitely caught my eye because I am a millennial who grew up on Disney. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm trying to think. I have seen most of the remakes. I think I've seen most of the Disney remakes, but we'll see which ones, how they list their rankings of which ones
dozens
the
of
worst.
live-action remakes of varying quality. Some have been bold reimaginings that stand on their own 2 feet. Others have been shot-for-shot replicas that exist for no other reason than to sell merchandise. And a few have been so bad that Disney didn't even bother releasing them in theaters. With the live-action Moana movie coming out, it felt like the right time to go back and rank all of the Disney remakes that came before it.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to pause it here just to discuss some of the photos or some of the movies that this individual is putting on the screen are, to me, more than remakes. There are some of the Disney movies that have been an expansion of the universe. For example, Cruella, Maleficent. Those weren't remakes. I don't consider those remakes. I consider those an expansion of the universe that those individual princesses were in, which I actually can appreciate that more than a remake. There are certain movies and TV shows that I would have preferred you do an expansion or give us something more to the story than doing a remake. For example, the Harry Potter remakes that are coming to, I think HBO picked that up. I'm pretty sure they did because they own Warner Brother, or vice versa. Warner Brother owns HBO. So they could have given us, some background on the Weasleys or background on anyone else, or would have, if they were going to do a remake them damn Newt Scamander movies, since those weren't like the best, where Harry Potter outnumbered in a lot of different ways the Secrets of series, or the and Where to Find Them series, whatever it was. Another example for the Avatar Last Airbender series that Netflix has started to readapt and is doing a horrible job. They could have done the White Lotus. Like, I would love to see the background for the White Lotus and the individuals who made up the like Grand Masters of the White Lotus. So those are just 2 examples where you're not talking about a remake of the show. So we'll see how this continues to go. But yeah, Maleficent, which is what I have it paused on right now, that's not a remake. That's just an expansion of the story. But now that I'm thinking about it, Maleficent 1, I guess, could be considered a remake because it was coming from her perspective. But Maleficent 2 definitely was more of an expansion of that world, and so was Cruella. But okay, let's keep it going.
To the bad, to the forgettable. Let's get into it. Alice in Wonderland. The movie that jump-started the current wave of Disney live action. It's less of a remake of the 1951 film and more of a reimagining / continuation of Lewis Carroll's original stories.
Let me see. Yeah, that one. I actually forgot about Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, I didn't love the movies, the remakes. And I ended up reading the books, which they're so short. I don't even see how you could make a full movie based on those books, because the books are really short. But Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, I guess that was more of a, I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. I guess that was more of a retelling, because it wasn't shot for shot. But they were super creepy and boring to me, in my opinion. So, depending on how many she has on here, I don't know, Alice would, for me, be on the lower side, like a 1 or a 2. But again, it is going to depend on what movies we're ranking. I do have a movie in mind that is probably like -0 to me. But let's see. Let's keep it going.
Kingsley is a strange 19-year-old who finds herself struggling to fit into Victorian high society. With her family
She was
falling
19?
on hard times after her father's death, it's expected that she marry the incredibly wealthy but incredibly boring Hamish Ascot. But during his proposal,
the only reason why that's shocking to me is because Alice was like supposed to be a kid. I didn't realize she was supposed to be 19. But like I said, it's been a minute since I've seen this one. Didn't forgot all about the fact that she was supposed to be getting married.
Underland and nearly being killed by the Red Queen, Alice embraces her muchness and defeats the evil Jabberwocky.
Well, yeah, I guess, that didn't happen in the original, so yeah, retelling.
And setting off on her own adventure.
I completely forgot
I wasn't a huge fan of the remake
the whole story.
Mainly because of the CGI, with Underland being a bit too uncanny valley for my taste.
Yeah, the CGI was weird, but that's why I liked it.
Crazy visuals.
That was actually... Let me pause it. The CGI was super weird, but given that this was Alice in Wonderland, I actually liked the fact that it was weird, because it gave to that fantasy dream world. So yeah, I actually think, even though it was probably artistically considered like bad, but at the time, that was what it was. But I did enjoy like the weirdness of it.
Quirky badass was also a bit much for me to wrap my head around, with her characterization really feeling like a product of the 2010s girl boss era.
Yeah, that's true.
Having her challenge Victorian norms did fit in with her overall character arc in the film. Becoming a ship apprentice kind of came out of left field, and I would have been perfectly happy with the film ending with her turning down Hamish. But with all of that said, after revisiting the film for the first time in over a decade, it's grown on me, having a great balance of humor, action.
I would have to revisit it.
Tim Burton clearly had a specific vision.
It had a vision, definitely had a vision. But my thing, I guess, I was going to say, there are two schools of thought with this. If you're going to take someone's IP, then do justice by it. But like the person is saying, Tim Burton definitely had a vision, so I can commend him on that. Like, he didn't just do a shot for shot. He reimagined this whole world and gave us something new. So I can get behind that. I actually can get behind that. I guess for me, the jury is still out on whether or not you should just create your own character and tell that story versus taking a beloved character and reimagining them into something else. I can see the positives and negatives for both that don't have anything to do with, just nostalgic sake. But I don't know. Y'all tell me in the comments what you think about that. Like, would you prefer a story that is an original story and this like young lady could have been named whatever, but it's her original story, versus taking someone else's? I think it's Christian Anderson. I think Alice in Wonderland. I could be wrong about that. I need to look it up. But instead of taking someone else's IP and deciding to do whatever you want with them, I don't know. Let's keep it going.
Style work perfectly for the more mature direction of the story.
Okay, I'm going to try to stopping as much. This is a 43-minute video. The last time I reacted to a 13-minute video, it turned out to be like an hour long. So this one is already pushing an hour. So I'm going to try not to stop as much so we can get through it. Let's go.
Plus, for me, are the new character designs, which are similar to their animated counterparts, but without being exact recreations.
Yeah, I feel like that was his goal with this, just like being able to do the costuming, which is, I'm a costume girl. My background is in fashion, so I was all over that. That one, and as I mentioned earlier,
in an interesting way. The cast
Cruella. Oh, I'm sure she's going to get into it, but yeah, the costumes in this movie were
much
awesome.
more enjoyable to watch than the original, who I always found whiny and selfish. Although she is a child lost in a strange world,
Right.
so I'll cut her some slack. Reinterpreting the first film as Alice misremembering Underland is a really clever choice, and I like how they revisited the moments we know and love, but in a new way. It's definitely scarier than the original, but I think that's a good thing. And the change in its tone allows it to work both as its own thing and as a companion piece to the original film, which you can't say about most of Disney's live-action remakes. The Sorcerer's Apprentice. This barely qualifies as a remake,
yeah, it does. That one's actually a stretch. I actually forgot that they did like a very small thing in Fantasia and then created a whole, I guess, 2-hour movie. I don't know how long the movie is, but The Sorcerer's Apprentice that's a strong reach for me as far as a remake. I mean, technically, yeah, I get it, but yeah, this is a reach.
I will too. Loosely based on an animated segment of Fantasia, as well as the well-known Arthurian legend, Merlin has been battling the evil Morgana Le Fay with the help of his apprentices,
I don't know about this legend.
Veronica, and Horvath. Horvath betrays them,
information
and Balthazar
for me.
is tasked with capturing Morgana's remaining loyalties.
And I didn't mind The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. I mean, it was Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, which is enjoyable. So I didn't hate this movie. On a scale of 0 being the worst, 10 being the best, I would probably put this at like a 6 or a 7.
Centuries pass.
And I can't remember if I rated Alice in Wonderland 0 to 10, 0 being the worst. I would say a 2 or 3 just because I liked the costuming, but the story was very disjointed for me and it didn't follow the original. It didn't have to be a shot for shot remake, but also, I don't know, it's just the story didn't compel me to like love this new story. It for me, it didn't really go anywhere.
10-year-old Dave bumps into Balthazar, putting on a magic ring and revealing himself as the prime Millennium. But he accidentally frees Horvath while fooling around with his powers. Balthazar traps himself and Horvath away for another decade, and when they're released, they seek out Dave, who's reluctant.
Let's see. Because this video is so long, I'm going to do it on double speed so we can get through it. Woo. Uh-oh. Go back. Okay, here we go. I'll put it on 1/2 so we can kind of get through it faster.
His destiny. Eventually he agrees to be Balthazar's apprentice, but his training is often interrupted by his flirtations with his childhood crush, Becky. Horvath kidnaps Becky and forces Dave into giving him his ring. And without the ability to perform magic, Dave... And
so this was like a full new story, technically. Like, it's very loosely based. Like, I don't even know why they called this The Sorcerer's Apprentice, just because they wanted to include that mop scene, I guess. I don't know. But this is so loosely based on that whole scene.
Even though it's a completely different story from its animated counterpart. I honestly think that the premise had potential.
And like I said, I enjoyed the story. I didn't hate it. It was different.
Which makes the film feel kind of cheap. As if that wasn't bad enough, I also find Dave a really unlikable protagonist. He's irresponsible, he's constantly complaining,
he is whiny.
That sort of character type worked for Jay Baruchel in How to Train Your Dragon, but in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, it makes him tough to root for. And that unlikability is kind of the problem with all of the characters. I mean, Becky is a nonsensical male fantasy, while Balthazar is the same type of grumpy hero we've seen Nicolas Cage play a dozen times. Honestly, the only thing the movie has going for it is Monica Bellucci as a hot sorceress and some mildly amusing action moments. Maleficent. A retelling of the 1980 film,
the next film is Maleficent.
As a child, she meets and falls in love with a human boy and meets
which,
but his ambition for wealth.
Yeah, I guess this jury's still out for me on this one too, as whether or not this is a remake or an expansion of the world. They did give us some backstory of what, this started like the kind of villain story, getting the villain side of the story. I think this was one of the first movies that explored that. So my point in saying that is I feel like you can't necessarily judge it against the original because it's not a remake. It's more of an expansion, but let's go. Let's see.
Broken-hearted,
what her thoughts are.
Revenge, cursing Stefan's newborn daughter Aurora with endless sleep, which can only be broken by true love. Stefan hides Aurora in the woods under the care of 3 pixies, but they're so useless that Maleficent ends up helping raise the girl from a distance. As the years pass, they grow closer, and Maleficent eventually rebooks the curse, only to discover that even she can't undo it. The curse is fulfilled, but Maleficent's maternal love for her is able to break the spell. After Stefan falls to his death, Maleficent crowns Aurora ruler of the Moors, finally uniting the 2 kingdoms. Like Alice in Wonderland, this is less of a remake of the animated film and more of a reimagining of the
this is more like a reimagining. So
the biggest change by far. Philip is irrelevant, Stefan is despicable, and the fairies imbeciles. Honestly,
side note, I did want to say this. Sleeping Beauty is my favorite Disney princess. Like I don't know if it's just the nostalgia. This was a movie I watched as a kid. I love those little fucking fairies. I thought they were just so cute and adorable. I loved when they were at the ball changing her dress from pink to blue to pink to blue. I love those little cookies that they ate. They made those cookies look so good. So I loved Aurora. Like, she was my favorite Disney princess. So just a side note on that. I didn't necessarily need to know Maleficent's story. I do think it was kind of fucked up that she wasn't invited to the ball. I don't think she should have put a death sentence on the child for not being invited, but she was definitely scorned. So she gave them her backlash, I guess, for not receiving an invitation. But yeah, that's just a side note.
The relationship drives the entire story, and while you can see what's coming a mile away, you're still invested. Bad guy origin stories have become kind of a joke trope at this point. Because Maleficent isn't reframed as an outright hero and is instead morally gray, it doesn't feel like a complete betrayal of her character. Sure, she's vengeful and cruel, but in a way you can actually empathize with. The scene where she wakes up and realizes her wings are gone is one of the most harrowing moments in any Disney film. Period. A pretty clear allegory for sexual assault. I applaud them for addressing such a serious issue.
Oh, really?
Understandable and appropriate.
I didn't know that this was supposed to be an allegory for sexual assault. That's really dark. Actually, I might have to revisit the film.
I'm not sure Disney has ever talked
with that perspective in mind.
Matched their roles, but it's hard to imagine anyone else playing Maleficent and Aurora, which is probably why they brought them both back for the sequel. Cinderella. A combination of the 1950 cartoon and 1990.
Now, this was a retelling, and they've done Cinderella so many times. I think that was kind of my, I can't even remember watching the remake, to be honest with you. But I think that I did watch it. I just don't really recall that much because it's so shot. I mean, they've done Cinderella at least 5 different times. So it's just kind of they're not really adding anything new. So why even do this?
There's just enough CGI to
Brandy is my remake Cinderella. So I mean, I don't know what to say.
The sets are gorgeous, the actors actually interact with their surroundings, and the costumes are just stunning. Sandy Powell actually did such a good job with the wardrobe that she even made me okay with Cinderella's ball gown not being silver, even if they did crank up the saturation in post. The decision to move away from the talking animals and musical numbers.
Yeah, I don't remember this one. I'm pretty sure that I saw it. I just don't remember it because they didn't do anything new with it.
But I just know if they tried to put them in a modern movie, there would inevitably be a terrible update.
On a scale of 0 to 10, as far as remakes go, I guess I'm gonna have to put it at a 4. I honestly do not remember this movie, but I'm pretty sure that I saw it.
It makes every moment of mistreatment genuinely upsetting to watch. Richard Madden looks the part of the prince, and expanding on his character's motivations and having him meet Ella before the ball was a really smart move. The scene where the two dance and walk around the castle is honestly so romantic that you completely understand why he goes to such lengths to find her again. Kate Blanchett as Lady Tremaine is another highlight. She's given just
I fuck with Kate Blanchett. But again, I know that I saw this movie, but I can't remember anything.
The Jungle Book. Mowgli has been raised by...
Okay, so the Jungle Book. I'm going to pause on this one because I never saw the cartoon Jungle Book, but I really enjoyed this movie. I don't know if it's shot for shot. I think that it is. Just given like what I've read about it, I can't recall how this was received critically. I feel like it wasn't received well, because I do remember like kind of thinking like I enjoyed it while the reviews on it weren't that great. But yeah, I enjoyed the Jungle Book. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm gonna put this at an 8-9.
For the safety of the wolf pack, Mowgli sets off for the man village with his mentor, the panther Bagheera. He encounters a carefree bear, Baloo, a hypnotic python, Kaa, and the scheming orangutan, King Louie, along the way. After Shere Khan kills Mowgli's adoptive wolf father, Mowgli stops running and uses his human resourcefulness to fight back, ultimately defeating the tiger with fire. Unlike the animated film, rather than leaving for the man village at the end, Mowgli chooses to stay in the jungle with his animal family. This version of Mowgli is a lot easier to root for than the original, who spent most of the movie being a snotty brat who got everyone else around him into trouble. The live-action Mowgli
she talking about the kid being a snotty brat. Okay. That's funny to me.
Where the original Shere Khan played with Mowgli like a cat toying with his lunch, the live-action version is outright terrifying. He's manipulative and completely merciless.
And the one thing that I did take away from the Jungle Book is like the tiger. He was right. You know, Thor was right. Magneto was right. Like, he was right. He did bring the forest, set it on fire. So it's just kind of like, why are we making him the villain? I don't understand. That's something that I always
feel about celebrity voice casting.
Was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to make him the villain because he's a tiger. I don't know.
But I am glad they kept King Louie's number because Christopher Walken absolutely kills it. That said, the film has its fair share of issues. Because almost everything is computer animated, Neil Setti sticks out like a sore thumb. With his interactions with the other characters...
I won't say that. I mean, this is 2016. We've gotten 10 years as far as CGI. And I hate that. I hate when people criticize CGI from 10, 20 years. I mean, of course, at the time, you have to judge it for what it was at the time. And at the time, I'm sure it looked comparable to what was available at the time. So I'm not going to ding it for the CGI. I'm not going to do that.
Experienced actors have complained about being the only human on an empty soundstage, but it's the type of thing that could have been somewhat resolved by having actual people for him to play off of. The animals suffer from the same problem I have with most of Disney's photorealistic visual effects. They're impressive, but they're not expressive. And if you muted a scene, you genuinely wouldn't be able to tell if a character is happy, angry, or terrified.
And that doesn't, I don't know. People be harping on like not being able to see expressions on a fucking animal. Like, come on, are you serious? It's an animal. That's the whole point.
The 1994 live action, or even 2018's Mowgli, it isn't my favorite. Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is another one that I did see, and it's pretty much shot for shot. Didn't really add much to the story, so I don't really know why they decided to do the remake. I mean, I know why, because of the cash grab, but outside of that, like, they could have left this
Initially, there were plans for a darker take on the story.
They
Something
could have
along the
left
lines of
that.
Alice in Wonderland or Snow White and the Huntsman. But after the success
Like Snow White and the Huntsman. Oh, I guess that's more Snow White. That's not. It's in the name. Not Beauty and the
Emma
Beast.
Watson was Disney's choice for Belle from the very beginning. And while she isn't a terrible singer, in my opinion, her voice wasn't quite at the level expected of a Disney princess. And every time she attempts one of the musical numbers, you just can't help but compare her performance to Paige O'Hara. And not once does she.
I don't even remember her singing.
I think a lot of people like to focus on Watson's
yeah, this
casting
is usually this movie came out in 2017, so I don't remember a whole. That's almost 10 years ago. I don't remember. I did watch it. I do remember that I did watch it, but it would, like I said, it didn't really stand out. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm gonna probably put this at a 3 or a 4. There was no reason to remake this movie if they were gonna do, if they weren't gonna do anything about with it. And I know that I am making that may sound a little contradictory for like why remake it at all. But going like saying, let's say going back to the Jungle Book, I think the fact that you are able to use the expressions of like what a real animal would look like, I actually think that adds more to the story than a cartoon, than trying to animate a cartoon animal, because that's not what that animal would do or what they would look like. So I actually, while some people might think that takes away from the story, I actually think that adds to it. But Beauty and the Beast, because it was shot for shot, it didn't really add anything additional to the story for me. So I'm not looking at this one as like something that I would rewatch.
Don't really add anything to the story as a whole. Unlike Cinderella, the faithfulness to the source material just feels lazy. Beauty and the Beast is a simple enough story that there was plenty of room to do something original with it. Instead, they replicated the animated film almost beat for beat. And I distinctly remember leaving the theater when it first came out thinking, wow, that was a waste of time. And
that was a waste.
I'm not quite as
so I guess that's where I'm landing as well. Like, it doesn't, if you're going to do a remake and a telling of, or a remake of the story, then add something to it. Like, if you're going to, like I was saying at the beginning, if you're going to not have an original IP, if you just have to use this character for whatever reason, that doesn't mean it has to be a shot-for-shot remake just because you are using that character. You can take that character's story and make it more interesting. Like, maybe Gaston didn't maybe he was more of a shy person, or maybe there was something with him, between him and the Beast beforehand. Maybe they were like half brothers or something, you know what I mean? Just like make it more than what it is. If you're going to bring in, if you are so compelled to remake the story, like make it interesting at least.
But my main issues still stand. I will say that visually, the film isn't bad. At least the sequence.
Yeah, the film isn't bad, but it doesn't
except for Belle's yellow
give me anything.
Christopher Robin.
Okay, I didn't see Christopher Robin. Uh-oh, what happened? Hold on.
I just want to smell fresh for...
Oh, it's giving me an ad break.
Hours.
So do I.
So the next one is Christopher Robin, which I did see Winnie the Pooh, and of course the very interesting scene of when he gets high on that, what was it, honey? Or he has a dream or something. It's like a really funny dream, like he's high on mushrooms or whatever. But I didn't see Christopher Robin, so I can't rate this one.
Less of a direct remake and more of a continuation of the Winnie the Pooh franchise, Christopher Robin follows its titular character as an overworked villain who's left the magic of his
fast forward, because I didn't see this one.
On a park bench in London, looking for the rest of the 100-acre wood gang who've gone missing, and a reluctant Christopher Robin helps him find.
I don't know how to work this remote. Okay, here we go. Oh, Dumbo.
Your choice for live action remake. With the original
Dumbo,
I add a lot to the story to pad the runtime.
I didn't really like Dumbo. As a matter of fact, I didn't like this one at all, this remake. I think the only reason why they remade it is so they could take out those racist crows.
She goes on a rampage.
I mean, that's the only reason why I could see maybe why they would remake this movie, but this movie was so boring to me. Like, it was not.
Even planning to kill his mother and any distractions.
There was no reason to remake this. So on a scale from 0 to 10, I would probably put this at a 1, maybe a 2.
I don't mind the first half where we're meeting all the circus performers and seeing how they mistreated.
Because they were trying to expand the story a little bit,
but the original story of a baby elephant and a pair of kids who've been separated from their parents.
It just didn't work. It was not interesting at all.
But I think a ringmaster needed an actor who could offer a slightly different interpretation of the character. Ava Green's character is also completely.
And they were too focused on the humans in this story, which was
just takes away from that.
I guess. I mean, if you're going to try to redo it and try to make it interesting, but the characters were not interesting, so boo, try again.
You can see how weak the film's emotional core is with the way they present Baby Mine, the one Disney song that is guaranteed to make me cry every single time. This time around, the scene is split between Dumbo and his mother and the circus's human employees. We don't get to feel Dumbo's vulnerability or his mother's desperation. Now, that isn't to say that the entire movie is terrible. Burton uses enough.
I think the entire movie was kind of terrible, and I love
but all in all, the whole movie feels like a great
what would you say, this turn of the century like circus,
Aladdin
circus background, but that one just didn't do it for me. Aladdin.
The story is essentially
okay. I really actually enjoyed the remake of Aladdin. I did not mind it at all. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I kind of thought it was cute the way that they have it where he's telling the story to the kids. I like how he did his own version of Never Had a Friend Like Me, and then I liked how they brought in like the Bollywood dancing. I liked it. I enjoyed it, even though it was kind of shot for shot than not. I feel like what they did add to it added to it, added some background, some story to it. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I would probably put this at a 6 or a 7.
Both because of his performance and the film's overall pacing. When it comes to the genie, I think anyone who took on the role was going to have a tough time, given how beloved Robin Williams' performance.
Yeah, he was so beloved. But I think Will held his own. I'm not going to even lie. I really do.
Making him feel less of a really mentor and more like the annoying guy at the gym who gives you unsolicited advice. I appreciate the colorful visuals, which do sell the magic of the setting, but the CGI can be a bit distracting at times, and it's hard to shake the feeling that you'd just rather be watching the original. The Lion King.
No, The Lion King is next. This one was 1 for me. Like, it was no reason to do this remake. They were so trying to cash grab. Even with them redoing the songs with Beyonce, it's just like, no, they could have kept it. They didn't add anything to this story, and it actually kind of ruined it.
The change that I like is Scar's new design, with the mangy, battle-scarred look helping him stand out, but in a way that isn't forced. I just wish the rest of the character wasn't strong. The casting overall is a mixed bag. Timon and Pumbaa are one of the film's biggest disappointments. With Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Timon and Pumbaa were not. I mean, it just made the film worse. It really did.
Beyonce voicing Nala adds a lot to the musical numbers, but her voice sounds too mature for the character. And Can You Feel the Love Tonight winds up feeling less like two characters.
I don't even think it added more to.
Like most of Disney's remakes.
I don't even think Beyonce's voice added that much to the Nyla character. Like,
but I'm not really inspired to do so.
It was uninspired.
I wouldn't be surprised if you had no idea this film existed, as it was
Lady and the Tramp. I did see the remake.
How much confidence Disney had in it.
I get what they were trying to do with, like, kind of the backstory with the humans.
There were a lot of weird animal traumas around this,
but they could have kept this one too. On a scale of 0 to 10, I'm giving this a 1. Like, there was no reason to do this. They added nothing to it. There was no reason. Especially if they weren't going to do anything with it, but put it out on
The voice cast doesn't help the experience either.
put it out
Jock
on.
poses
I
the
think
sass
this
and
one
overprotective
went
energy.
to
Lady doesn't come
the
across as naive
streaming,
or pampered.
which I mean, it was
But
2019, so I get it. COVID, it was right in the middle of COVID,
racism, but the replacement
but
is
still,
a total mismatch.
they didn't have to
Honestly,
redo
I'm not
this.
sure this movie needed to be a musical at all. But my biggest issue is with the script. In the original, it's Aunt Sarah who hands Tramp over to the authorities. She's the villain. Here, Jim Deere doesn't.
Yeah, and they were trying to make the aunt the villain. It just it did not work for me.
To him any empathy makes her genuinely unlikable, and the whole thing just leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Mulan. Okay.
Mulan was actually the first Disney remake I ever reviewed on this channel, which means I spent
Mulan
actively avoiding
is the movie that I was talking about that I would give a negative one. This movie was so freaking weird. Like they were trying to give it something new, but it's just like, are you paying your writers? This is the movie. Hold on, I gotta pause on this one. This is the remake where I was literally scratching my head trying to determine, is Disney even paying their writers? Or is this just like you put something into Chat GPT? Like what this movie was so weird, so uninspired. It was so disjointed. It's a negative one for me.
Marketed it as that instead of positioning it as a Mulan remake, it would have been a much easier sell. Keeping that in mind during my rewatch,
right? If they maybe if they weren't using the IP of Mulan, maybe this story could have gone somewhere. Maybe, who knows?
The only one I find,
but the movie, them trying to make it a remake or a retelling of Mulan, it just was
not because they didn't have
very flat. It was concave.
The worst new addition is probably Mulan's sister, who not only has no personality, but whose existence lessens the pressure Mulan feels as the family's only child.
Yeah, but if I hold it here, isn't it blocking my face?
Okay, it's another commercial.
Hey, Georgia, Living Spaces is now open in Buford. Come see it for yourself. Living Spaces.
I don't know if I can fast forward past commercials. Maybe I need to purchase something. I don't know. Okay.
The addition of Chi is another issue.
Still on Mulan.
Undermines what makes Mulan's story so compelling. Instead of watching her struggle to earn her place and be respected by all these men, she's just jumping off of buildings at 10 years old.
Yeah, like she didn't earn anything as this Mulan. Like I mean, you all can watch the reviews and the critical analysis of why this movie was so terrible. And I concur with all of them. It was just really weird. The choices that they thought.
I wasn't a huge fan of Cruella when it first came out, but after sitting with it for a few years, not to mention comparing it to Disney's other remakes, I'm able to enjoy it.
Okay, so Cruella is, I'm going to pause it here because Cruella is one of these things, not even a retelling. I wouldn't even say that this is a retelling. I would say that this is an expansion of the universe. And going back to what I was saying about being a fashion girly, the fashions in this movie, they took me out. Now the storyline, the writing, that was something different. I give the fashions a 10, 11, 12. I give the story itself maybe a 4. I don't know where that makes the movie, where that lands on the scale. You all can do the math, but yeah, I was into this movie strictly for the fashions. I mean, you can't get better than 1970s UK British rock and roll. I mean, it's giving me a hard on just thinking about it again. And these images, I mean, oh my God, I loved it. I love the fashion.
For her doesn't really set up for a crazed individual we meet in Hunger Games nominations. But I do respect that they let the Baroness be a genuinely terrible person.
I don't like when they do these remakes though and try to make us empathize with the villain. Like, just let the villain be a villain. It's okay. That's what a story is. Like, we don't have to The villain doesn't have to always have a backstory.
Every single character from the animated movie caused a lot of problems. Not only when it came to pacing, but the film's overall message. It just felt like weak writing.
Yeah, the writing on this was fairly weak. I agree with that.
They have to make them part of her story now. The film's costumes are a point of contention I know puts me in the minority, but I find them a little try-hard. There's a lack of effortless glamour compared to Glenn Close's Cruella, and the exclusion of fur does remove something essential from the
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, maybe, but I'm head over heels about the fashions in this video. In this movie. Pinocchio is another movie I think that got a lot of backlash for not doing so well. People not really liking it, but I mean, I enjoyed it. Maybe because it was a shot for shot, and they didn't really change that much of it. Didn't love the end. And the end of this movie. Let me pause it. The end of this movie, I had to go and actually read the Wikipedia page and realize, like, that's kind of how it does end. But come on, you can't have an actual ending to a movie and then decide to remake it and then not have an ending. Like, the ending was trash. But outside of that, I would probably put this at a 5. Like, no one is sitting. There was one, I can't remember. I have to go back and look. There was only a few that sit past 5 for me, and this one is like very mid. It sits at a 5.
The film making every mistake someone else's fault, and as a result, his transformation into a real boy at the end feels completely unearned.
Yeah, it wasn't earned. I would give that.
It seems to me that children should never be made to feel like
he didn't earn becoming a real boy in the remake. That story was kind of lost.
Every CGI character design is nightmare-inducing, and the real actors never properly interact with the
I do like how they brought in the other doll, the dancing doll. I thought that was cute.
The one genuine bright spot is Cynthia Erivo as
Cynthia Erivo as Blue Fairy was a good add too.
Compared to Guillermo del Toro's version, or even the 1996 film with Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
I didn't see either one of those remakes. So this is another one of those movies that they've remade it so many times. It's just kind of like, why? Why are you remaking this again? Didn't see Peter and Wendy, so I'm going to fast forward. But Peter Pan is another one that is just like, why?
Ever Anderson.
They've done it so many times. Like, why?
But she's actually a solid one.
So I guess from the imagery that's being shown on the screen, like, it does look like it was more of a retelling than a remake. So maybe that's why. But I never saw it, so we're gonna move past it. I cannot get this remote to do what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. The next one is The Little Mermaid. I am probably an outlier on this. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, but The Little Mermaid came out. I saw this in the movie theater. I remember going to go see this one in the movie theater. I did not see the live action in the movie, but I did see the cartoon in the movie. But either way, I enjoyed The Little Mermaid. I think everybody acted well. So I'll probably put this one at a 7 or 8.
Has already given us the definitive live action Ursula. They've expanded Eric's character by making him adopted and giving him a new song.
Yeah, they gave Eric a little background
in order to give Ariel more agency. The actors do have great chemistry, though, and I
loved how they brought in the Caribbean kind of scene too. I enjoyed that.
And Sebastian lose the charm and expressiveness of their
and people would say, Aquafina's Scuttlebutt song. I actually like that song. So yeah, I'm gonna stick by my 7.
All of the new songs are a real disappointment, with Scuttlebutt being one of the worst things I've ever heard in a Disney film.
People hating on Scuttlebutt. I liked it. I didn't mind Scuttlebutt.
Is mediocre at best. My favorite sequence in the entire film is probably Ariel and Eric's date, mostly because it's stretched with the least CGI.
And I like the choices that
I wish the whole film had felt more like that.
Halle Berry made.
Snow White is a kind-hearted young princess whose beauty does murders and forbidden stepmother, forced to flee the castle, she takes refuge in a cottage belonging to some boys. The queen tracks her down, disguising herself as an old woman.
I can't really say what. I can't give this one any. I can't review this one for myself. Didn't see Lilo and Stitch either. I never saw the cartoon Lilo and Stitch, so we're gonna move past that one as well. What's the last one? Okay, so here their rankings are. So from what I can recall, I don't remember all of the movies, but I think I had Jungle Book pretty high up there, like a 8 or 9. The Little Mermaid was pretty high up there. Cruella was high up there only because of the fashions. The actual writing was trash. I know the lower ones were Mulan. I hated Mulan. Like, I don't hate movies. I hated Mulan. That was just a travesty. Let's see what they got.
Heavily biased, so don't take it too serious.
Oh, it's going to commercial again.
Summer slipping by? There's still time for pool days. Book on Vrbo and save with last-minute deals on your summer stay. If you know, you Vrbo. Book now. Your wish has come true.
The session is now available to watch at home. With exclusive bonus.
I am on YouTube all the time, but I never really looked into that. So if that is even an option.
From the internet provider that stands out for speed. Now, even our name.
Uh-oh.
Aster. G-Fiber.
Okay.
If your
So
favorite
let's see
is
what
an
our rankings are.
Pinocchio. It actually
got
disgraces
18.
Walt Disney's legacy,
Pinocchio at
and everyone
18.
involved should honestly be ashamed of themselves. It's a steaming pile of shit. Lilo and Stitch.
Damn.
They completely
Not
forgot about the
steaming
meaning of
pile of
Ohana. And to this day, I have no
Lilo
idea
and
how such
Stitch
a
is
lackluster cash
17.
grab made over $1 billion. Lady and the Tramp. I'm not
Lady and the
surprised that this went
Tramp
straight to Disney
is
Plus, because there's
16.
absolutely no reason that this movie should exist.
Yeah,
Peter Pan and
I
Wendy.
agree with
The
that.
first Peter Pan movie that
Wendy.
hasn't
I
maybe
can't remember, but I think
Jude
I
Law
heard
should sue
that
whoever gave him
Peter
that
Pan and
terrible
Wendy
wig.
wasn't
Snow White.
well.
Don't let the internet
Especially,
shit
and
you rituals like
another caveat to the Peter Pan and Wendy. I went to the movies to see Hook. Like, Rufio, all of that. So, yeah, if you're going to redo it, you got to come harder than that, which I don't think they did, according to some of the reviews that I've heard.
part of this movie.
Snow White
She's
is
the only
14.
thing that makes it watchable.
I can't
Why
believe
are
she
people
got
still trying to
Mulan
dog it up? She can't act. The Lion King,
more
a nature documentary
than,
featuring Beyonce. I don't know how they managed to
higher
make
than a lot
Human
of these
feel
other
joyless.
ones, but
The Sorcerer's
that's just my
Apprentice,
opinion.
painfully generic with a cast that is honestly
13
exhausting,
was
which
The
is a
Lion
pity
King,
since the premise
12 was
actually
The
has some potential.
Sorcerer's
Dumbo.
Apprentice,
They made Dumbo a
11
supporting
Dumbo.
character in his own movie, which
I didn't
suggests
rank
a heartfelt
mine
story
like
about
this. I
family and
ranked them on
acceptance,
each
the one where adults
individually
just
on a
hard to
scale of
develop.
1 to 10,
The
but I
Little Mermaid.
guess
Terrible songs, terrible CGI, terrible villains. Halle Bailey is the only thing that saves this from being complete trash.
if
Mulan.
you are looking
This is a
at it, I
completely new
can't
film
believe she
masquerading
has
as a remake. It
Mulan
would have been fun
before
if Disney had said that from the get-go. They have a funny
Lion,
misunderstanding
The
of
Little
the meaning of
Mermaid.
support,
I
but at least
thoroughly
they get some points for
disagree.
originality.
Mulan was
Aladdin.
terrible.
Will Smith gives it his best shot, but he's fighting a losing battle.
Mulan,
The only reason this
I'm
isn't
sorry,
lower is that I actually
Aladdin
like
at
how it
8,
looks. The
Mulan
Jungle Book.
at
Shere Khan is
9,
terrifying, and
The
Christopher
Jungle Book
Walken
is 7.
absolutely kills
Yeah,
it.
I had
The
to
photorealistic animals can't
That's
carry the
probably
emotional
number
weight
1
the story
for me.
needs. Beauty
So
and the
I'll be
Beast.
curious.
It has its ups and
what her
downs,
number
with
1
most of the
is.
changes doing very little to enhance the story,
6,
but at least there aren't a lot of
Beauty and
them,
the
so I'm not
Beast.
actively distracted. I honestly think if they'd gotten rid of the musical aspect, it actually could have been good. Cruella. A fun romp,
Cruella's
even if it has little in
5.
common with the source material. Both Emmas fully
I
commit to their
can't
roles,
get with the
and I enjoy
writing
seeing
for
true wickedness in a
Cruella.
Disney film. I have no idea how they're going to do a sequel, though. Alice in Wonderland. It
Alice
isn't
in
perfect,
Wonderland?
but I respect
Okay.
how they played
I
around with
guess
the
I
source
can
material,
get with
continuing
that.
Alice's
I
story
understand
without
that it
erasing
was
the original
more
film.
of a
Christopher
retelling. It
Robin.
was an interesting
Unexpectedly moving,
retelling. So,
proving that Disney works best when they're telling human stories with heart. Maleficent. A bold
he had a
reimagining that
vision
brings
with,
something new to the
Tim
Sleeping Beauty
Burton
story
had a vision.
without
So,
stomping all
yeah.
over it. Angelina
3
Jolie was born to
was
play Maleficent, and I think Elle Fanning is a
Christopher
perfect
Robin.
Aurora.
2
I just wish the
was
sequel wasn't so
Maleficent.
terrible, because the fairy designs deserve more than that.
Man, what's the
Cinderella.
one?
It's faithful to the
Cinderella.
source
Okay.
material while still bringing
Well,
something new to it.
I
Great
don't agree with
performances,
that.
great
Only
visuals, great
because
costumes. It's actually
Cinderella
movie
was
magic and
just,
become one of my favorite
it was
Cinderella
the same
adaptations in general.
story.
If
And
more
we've
live
heard that
actions had been
story
like this,
so
I don't
many
think I would
times.
have
As
as
a
much issue
matter
with
of
that.
fact,
Which Disney live
like I
action
said,
remake
the
do you
Brandy
think is the
one
worst?
gave us like a little bit of a retelling, more so, and new songs. The song that Jason Alexander sings in it comes to mind, and then the Impossible, of course, the Whitney Impossible song comes to mind. So if they were going to do that one, they had to step it up 1,000, which I don't think they did. But yeah, those were my thoughts on which Disney live action remakes were the worst. You all let me know what you thought. How would you rank these individual ones that we discussed today? And I'll talk to you all later. Until then.